warning for teams to clear the field. 2-minute warning. Latin award-winning artist Alejandro Sanz is bringing his 2023 En Vivo tour to Grande Arena on Thursday, October the 5th. Don't miss out. You get tour tickets now at GrandeArena.com or visit the GrandeArena box office. Prohibited inside HB Park. Please take note of the exit signs. In case of an emergency, exit through the nearest marked emergency exit. When using the stairs, use handrails. And if you notice something suspicious or out of place, please notify a member of our staff. Remember, if you see something...
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors, from savory...
Did you know when banks can't, and the big banks won't? Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank.
And good evening. Welcome to Edinburgh. We're at the southern tip of Texas to bring you exciting USL Championship soccer. Tonight, the Rio Grande Valley Toros dial up Memphis 901. Glad to have you with us. I'm Mark May with Brian Smith, coming to you from beautiful HEB Park here on ESPN+. And Brian, we had a bit of a rain delay, and as the skies kind of opened up this afternoon, I know both of these teams' offenses want to kind of open it up too.
Yeah, two teams that are very defensively minded as the game continues. We're going to get a chance to really look at the adjustments they're making to build the type of offensive attack that could give these two teams 3 big points.
Yeah, 5 goals total scored for Memphis, 4 for Rio Grande Valley in 5 games. And as we look at our players to watch here tonight, starting with Memphis.
Yeah, Keem Ward, who is no stranger to HEB Park, spent significant time last season with the Toros, comes in, and he could be the difference maker for this Memphis 901 team. He's a defender, but he is lightning quick. 5 chances created on the year, and he could go a long way toward building that attack. On the other side, for Rio Grande Valley, it's the defender Jonathan Ricketts, making his 6th start of the season for the Toros. He's been involved in the attack. He has a goal. He's taken 3 shots, but more so than that, he gets things done. 35 duels won. He is involved in every aspect of this Toros success.
All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look at the starting lineup and talk about our keys. Right now, you're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors. From savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. HEB Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
When it comes to our familia, we all have our own flavor and expression. At Tequila de Corralejo, we believe sharing our individuality is what makes gathering together so fun. Here's to those who stand tall and share their passion.
Espinos Tires on FAR 83 has been serving the Valley for over 30 years. We offer a wide assortment of tires, wheels, and auto parts. Let us build your dream vehicle with only $49 down. No credit required.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank. Did you know when you bank with Lone Star National Bank, you're investing in your community? By creating jobs that stimulate our local economy, creating success that we share with our community. In fact, Lone Star National Bank donates more money and more volunteers to more causes than all other area banks combined. We do what the little banks can't, and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
And welcome back to HEB Park in Edinburgh, Texas, just moments away from the opening kickoff between the Rio Grande Valley Toros and Memphis 901. Brian, take us through our starting 11 for tonight.
Start with the visiting Memphis 901. Interesting setup for them. They're going to be in the 4-5-1. Very defensively minded, and you can do that when you have a keeper like Bill Hamid standing in goal. The forward in this one will be Lapa for Memphis 901. On the other side, for the Toros of Rio Grande Valley, the tried and true 4-4-2. No weaknesses in that lineup. Derek in goal. And then you see the lineup there, 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and the 2 forwards. It's a nice balance for the Toros because it allows them to have that stacked 4-4 on the back and in the mid, and you have 2 available strikers should you be able to move that ball long. You see what those lineups look like. Here are the keys for these 2 teams to find some real success here. For the Toros, since you're in the 4-4-2, you can't give up any easy opportunities to Memphis 901. They have just the 1 striker. Keep an eye on him, mark him, lock him down, and you should be in a good spot to come away with 3 big points. On the other side for Memphis 901, they have to take advantage of strong counters. When you only have one forward striker and you've got so much focus in that 4-5-1, when you've got opportunities, you've got to capitalize on them with a quick counter or a set piece. Worth mentioning, when you're in the 4-5-1 like Memphis is, you can very quickly transition into that 4-4-3 because you're so close with those extra midfielders being able to move forward into an attacking position. That could be a key for Memphis 901. If they get a nice attack on the counter, quickly make that transition to the 4-4-3, and they're in a really good spot to get some good looks in the box.
Yeah, we're just underway now at HEB Park, and yes, if you send those wingers forward out of that 4-5-1, you immediately transition to a 4-3-3 and a much stronger attack that can be very quick. So it's a good kind of transition type of formation. First time they've used it this season, and also the Toros, who have used a 3-4-3 the last 3 games, going with the 4-4-2 here tonight. That's the first time this season they have used that formation. And like we said at the top, both teams kind of looking to unlock the floodgates a little bit and get some more goals on the board.
And if you're Memphis 901, you're specifically looking for a strong 15 minutes to open this one. The first 15 has kind of been their Achilles heel. 8 goals conceded across the season for Memphis 901. Of those 8, 5 came in the opening 15 minutes. So watch these first 15. If they can hold the Toros off, that's a really good sign for this Memphis squad.
And conversely, we'll see if the Toros try to put on the pressure in the opening 15 to try to get that early goal. They've scored the first goal twice this season and have not lost either time with 1 win and 1 draw. And Memphis, you mentioned giving up the early goals. They have yet to take the lead this season. They have given up the first goal in all 4 of their previous matches.
And it's looking for their first win on the year. And I think that's something that's kind of plagued Memphis in this one. They've played extremely well. This is not a Memphis team that has just given up goals and given up matches. They've been quite tight, but they have not come out on the positive side.
We see the ball chipped into the box, but headed out by Wahab Akwe, the defender for Rio Grande Valley. Now it's chipped into the box again, all the way to the far post. Nobody there. It's going to go out of play. Oh, they kept it in. Chased it down and kept it in, and they'll continue the attack here. Memphis in black kits for the 5th straight game. Toros in the blue and white kits. Chip into the area, and there's a shot. Goes over the bar, and that's their main forward we talked about. Bruno Lapa was able to get that touch.
It's something that Coach Glass has talked about at length for Memphis. You take it here, they're able to build good attacks. That was dropped in beautifully. An even better cross, just not being able to finish. You see Lapa was standing right there but couldn't get over it, ends up under it, and now we're going to get the first corner for Memphis 901.
Yeah, it must have gone off a Rio Grande Valley defender, so it's chipped into the box, kicked out by the Toros. Right back to Aaron Malloy, their captain, sends it back in, headed up, and Tyler Derrick will come out and grab that one. Tyler Derrick, an experienced keeper with these Toros in his 3rd season with Rio Grande Valley, former Houston Dynamo player. A long pass all the way down to Cristiano Francois. Now, I was going to mention Francois playing forward. He's normally a midfielder, but they moved him up as one of the 2 forwards here tonight.
Yeah, the epitome of that attacking midfielder kind of mentality in Francois. He has the ability, if you let him get out into space, to make something happen, and why not play him as a forward in that position? It's like an extra midfielder that can kind of switch back and forth as you need to apply pressure.
Oh, here's a long pass here by Memphis 901. See Luis Fernando, the Brazilian, send it inside, comes back to Fernando. Little triangle here for Memphis 901. There's Fernando right there. He scored a goal last week in that 2-2 draw against Las Vegas. It's going to go all the way around to the opposite side. Memphis 901 trying to be patient here, but the Toros putting on some pressure and able to win the ball. Still chasing it down. This is Ricketts going after it, chasing after it with Laurent Kisiedu. And now we're going to get a free kick here for the Toros.
It looked like Jonathan Ricketts got upended there for a moment as he's trying to chase that out to the corner. Kisiedu's right behind him, and it's just that little bit of a tap to his hip as he puts his head up that puts Ricketts off of his center of gravity. It's a moment to compose himself before we get back to action.
And Ricketts from Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he played 2 years ago with the Chattanooga Red Wolves before coming to the Toros last year at the beginning. Yedu from Ivory Coast. Quite a few foreign-born players on this Memphis 901 team. They have several Brazilians, a player from Ivory Coast, a player from the Caribbean. Long pass here by the Toros, trying to get it to Wilmer Cabrera. 901 is there first, able to clear it up to the midfield area. Papa unable to get control. Nice back heel there by Jose Torres. Experienced player, former U.S. men's national team member. 35 years old, a wily veteran with these Toros team. Ruiz chasing after it, sends it inside, and it's going to go out. This is going to be corner kick here for the Toros.
Hamid was right over the top of that. You see, he immediately raises his hand and says, no, that's off of Cabrera. Official sees it differently.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Good chance at a corner here for Rio Grande Valley, but Cabrera will take it.
Cabrera, the son of Coach Wilmer Cabrera. It's in this corner kick in. It's flicked on up to the top of the box and kicked clear by 901. Go in here for Jose Torres out of Longview, Texas. Quick pass inside. This is Cabrera trying to weave his way between two defenders on the edge of the box. Looking for some help. It's it back to Torres now. Now the captain, Juan David Cabezas from Colombia, sent it over to the right side. And one of the things I think we might see from the Toros early on, Brian, or throughout the game, is with the Memphis 901 stuffing that midfield with 5 midfielders. We see a chance here for Cabrera, able to get off a shot, but it's well wide. We might see the Toros use the long ball a little more often.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you counter the 4-5-1, is you just play over the top of it. But what that also means is you have to have some pretty skilled and confident forwards to go out and run long and run that down and make things happen. We're seeing this from Cabrera early on already. Some really nice footwork, weaving through traffic. That's the exact thing you want when you're trying to play long and high over the top of that 4-5-1, is somebody that can put the ball down and then make something happen.
It was a great first touch by him just a moment ago to bring that ball to his feet. Get off the shot that was not on target. There's a chance now for Memphis 901, racing into the forward attacking third. Fernando sends it off to Lapa. And now it's Kisyedu with it. It's chipped into the middle of the box. Goes all the way through. It looks like Memphis 901 able to keep this in play just for the moment. Malloy was hustling down after that, and it's be a throw-in for Memphis 901. Malloy, quite a player, isn't he?
He is something else. I mean, and talk about the physicalness of what he's trying to do here. He just barely misses keeping that in, but he's a big part of what they've done on the attack. 15 chances created. That leads the team at this point. He's also got 10 interceptions on the year. He's taken 7 shots. If you want somebody that's just got the confidence to go in there and make something happen, look further than Malloy.
Here's Malloy here with the chip. Over to the far side, headed out by the Toros. Francois trying to play it back to Acque. Now here's Cabezas. Cabezas with the long chip over that midfield. Cabrera trying to race onto it, has space to work with. It's Cabrera on the left wing. Sends it inside. One touched up top, and Memphis 901 able to intercept there.
That was very, very close for Rio Grande Valley. Crossed in nicely by Cabrera. You see Ricky Ruiz tries to get that heel touch back to Francois. Doesn't quite get enough on it. But again, the long pass leads to an opportunity in the box. Rio Grande Valley gets all on the same page, and that starts to click. They could be really dangerous in the attack.
Kisyedu was able to get the touch that kind of broke that up. 9 minutes complete here. We've seen some end-to-end action. Neither team with a real serious shot just yet. But both teams looking for that first goal. Chance here for 901. A shot and a save made by Derek. Was able to spear that one down. Despite having some velocity, he's able to hold on to it for the first save of the match.
And look no further than Akeem Ward, the former Toro, reads that beautifully to set this up. And then here comes the attack from Memphis 901. That's created by Akeem Ward and his awareness of Rio Grande Valley's a little bit of a gap coming back defensively, and he challenges.
Yeah, a couple of former Toros on this 901 team. Dylan Borchak is on the bench. You may see action tonight. He played for the Toros much of last year before going to Memphis 901 in September of last season. Memphis 901 having their best year in franchise history last year. 68 total points, 21 victories. They advanced to the conference semifinals.
Franchise record 70 goals last season, nearly doubling their prior franchise high.
Yeah, they were a scoring machine last year. They've had trouble finding the back of the net this season. As we mentioned, 5 goals in the first 4 games. They still have some of their top heavy hitters from last year. Philip Goodrum led the team with 22 goals last year, but is still looking for his first goal this season.
Not for lack of effort, though. He's been in the mix in just about every match for Memphis 901. 23 duels won. He's drawn 12 fouls. He's making things happen. Just hasn't quite been able to break through. As you see Lapa getting himself up off of the pitch after a really hard tackle.
Lapa, one of those Brazilian players. Lapa right here. Sends it inside. That was Fernando. Fernando was dispossessed. Memphis 901 will restart. First season was 2019, so one of the newcomers in the USL Championship. Here's Fernando. Fernando, pass over to the right side. It's Buckmaster will send it in, and it's sent clear by Pimentel, or excuse me, by Ricketts, but not quite out of play. Sent back in by Malloy. Now Goodrum. 25-year-old, had 22 goals last year. We were just talking about him. And ends up committing the foul. This will be a free kick here for Rio Grande Valley.
Goodrum gets wrapped up there with Ricketts. The official quick to run over. Whistle that one dead, pointing in favor of Rio Grande Valley. Another look at it right here. These two were going at it from the moment that ball was placed in. You see Goodrum went to ground first, and since his feet were wrapped up with Jonathan Ricketts, easy call to be made there.
This is only the second meeting between these two teams, as we see first-year head coach Stephen Glass there watching from the Memphis bench, Scotsman. But last year they met in October. That was at AutoZone Park in Memphis, a 2-2 draw. Memphis going ahead in that game 2-0 before Rio Grande Valley scored twice in the last 17 minutes to secure that 1 point. That's been their only meeting. So this is the first time Memphis has visited Texas and HEB Park.
It's a Memphis team that's kind of licked their chops against opponents out of the West, including Rio Grande Valley. They've played 8 matches against Western teams. They've yet to come away the loser. 6 wins, 2 draws in those 8 appearances. So anytime they see somebody from the West on their schedule, they think we've got a chance for some points.
No doubt they're thinking that tonight. So Memphis began the evening in last place. They're 12th in the Eastern Group East. But with a win tonight, they pick up all 3. They can actually jump all the way into a tie for 7th. Rio Grande Valley beginning the night in 8th spot. And if they get all 3 points, they can move up into a tie for 5th. Both teams were incentivized to pull off the win here tonight. And here's where we're going to have a free kick awarded to the 901.
Like Buckmaster got the worst of that. They're going to get a yellow card issued here against the Toros. That's going to go against Gabriel Benitez. And you see right here, Benitez just about a half step too slow coming in. Ends up drawing the foul.
First yellow card of the season on Benitez. We mentioned how Memphis 901 didn't have a win as yet through the first 4 matches. 2 other teams in the league also looking for their first wins, Las Vegas Lights and Miami FC. There's 2 undefeated teams in the league as well, Sacramento Republic and then Charleston Battery. each in the first in their respective conferences. Both those teams in action tonight. Charleston Battery playing Louisville City in South Carolina, and then Sacramento Republic will kick off a little bit later this evening. They're at home against Orange County.
It's funny how the quirk in those early schedules work themselves out. You mentioned, Mark, that the other two teams in the USL to yet pick up a win are Las Vegas and Miami. Those happen to be the last two teams that Memphis played, and they played them both to draws.
Yeah, they're coming in on a two-win unbeaten streak, if you will. No wins, but 2 draws in those last 2 after starting off the year with 2 losses. Rio Grande Valley started the year off with 3 consecutive 1-1 draws, all at home. Then they went on the road and won at Detroit City 1-0. And then in Pittsburgh last week, they lost 2-0. Another chance for here for Memphis 901, cleared out by Akwe, bounces back, and then Ricketts gets a boot on it. Still not out of danger for the Toros. It's 901 trying to regain possession. They do here at midfield. So 901 has been the aggressors here through the first 15, not giving up that goal. As we talked about how they've been vulnerable. There's a chance there as they send it into the area, but unable to connect. Goes all the way through to be Toros' ball.
Not really a surprise to see Memphis be the aggressor. They're a team on the year that has really been the aggressor, outpossessing their opponents by an average of 61 to 39 in terms of time of possession. So they like to be over the ball. They like to be the ones applying the pressure, setting the pace. They just have not been able to have that transition into goals and points.
The Toros have kind of been up and down with their possession, haven't they? I know last year they felt they were more successful when they allowed the other teams to kind of bring the ball to them.
I think it's a part of Wilmer Cabrera's system here in Rio Grande Valley. They play to the weakness of their opponent. So if they're playing someone that really likes to stand over the ball, Toros want to take advantage of that.
Oh, they see the ball goes off the post after it hit a defender, and Akwe clears it. And the Toros dodging a huge bullet there.
You don't get much closer than that. And that, again, quick counter, quick development, just past the outstretched arm of Tyler Derrick, but not enough to creep it past the upright.
Good opportunity there for Memphis 901. So the ball ricochet off a defender's leg, and that's what sent it into the post. And Derrick, fortunate that the ball did not ricochet off him. He was diving, going to ground there near that post as the ball ricocheted. Here we've got a foul called against the Toros. It'll be a free kick for Memphis 901.
See, Francois trying to be physical there and work his way around Akeem Ward. And just a little too aggressive. You see he spins Ward out of the way as he's coming around that right hip. Throws his hands up, but an easy call to make, especially when the official's standing right there. He puts his hand up and says, you can't pull that shoulder like that.
See the kick there by Bill Hamid, goalkeeper for Memphis 901. Now he's got quite a history, doesn't he?
He's decorated time. He was the backup keeper for the U.S. men's national team behind a name you may have heard before, Tim Howard, who happens to be the sporting director for Memphis 901. Actually holds the MLS record for youngest keeper to pick up a win, beating out Tim Howard by 4 days at the age of 19.
19 years old. That's quite impressive, be playing at the MLS level. Had 88 clean sheets in 13 years with DC United. Here's a chance here. This is Lapa with a nice little turn as the ball kicked away, but a shot, not much pace on it. Derrick able to make the save. Looked like a good run with the shot there, and wishes he could have done better with that. We'll take a look.
That's 2 good opportunities in the span of about 2 minutes now for Memphis 901, and a really nice strike. Just perhaps didn't get as much on it as he would have liked, but all things are coming up pretty positive for Memphis 901 right now. They're the aggressor. They're getting some good opportunities.
Got 2 shots on goal already, and here they are again, building up the offense. Teams come out very aggressively. We see Torres with a sliding tackle there, but it bounces right back to 901. Kelly, one of 4 players who has a goal this season for Memphis 901, sends it over to the left side. And now we've got a free kick awarded. Or is it? A free kick awarded to the Toros.
Akeem Ward using his speed to get in the mix there, but perhaps just a little too physical. Akwe will get to put a boot in it for the Toros.
Akwe out of Ghana, 6 foot, 26-year-old defender. Played with the Toros all last year. Looks like he's going to let Derek take the kick. Derek, who's 6'3" out of Houston, 34 years old.
He's got some MLS experience under his belt as well. Spent a number of seasons with the Houston Dynamo.
And he's the Toros' all-time leader in saves and also clean sheets, including one earlier this season, give him 15 career.
It's now his 3rd season as the primary keeper for the Rio Grande Valley Toros.
We're going to have a throw in here for the Toros.
Like Wilmer Andres Cabrera. Oh yeah, he gets a little bit of a shove right to the back of his head, and then as he comes in again right here, another pretty good shove by Buckmaster.
Yeah, it was actually a free kick being awarded rather than a throw-in. It looks like Cabrera was shaken up a bit. That's why the momentary delay. Yeah, Buckmaster committed the foul. Defender out of Auburn, Indiana, 26 years old. Cabrera, a pretty young player, just 22 years old, has 3 shots so far, making his 6th start this season. About halfway through the first half now, no score as yet, but Memphis 901 having the better of the opportunities with 2 shots on goal and a 3rd that cranked off the post.
The quick counter there for Rio Grande Valley, trying to slip that forward to Cabrera. Defense for Memphis 901 stacked up pretty well, cuts off his angle, he can't get to it. Now just quickly trickle out.
There was the Cabrera back there in his 3rd consecutive year as head coach, his 4th overall as head coach of the Toros. Coached them in their 1st year back in 2016. Then came back 2 seasons ago. He's taken them to the playoffs in all 3 of his previous seasons. Toros hoping to be back there again this year. Top 8 in each conference will qualify for the USL Championship playoffs. Here's Akwe. The Toros having trouble trying to pierce that tight midfield. Now they're able to get it through here, and here's an opportunity on the right side. This is Francois chasing it, and then kind of shoves the defender out of the way as the ball goes out. Last touch by the Toros.
That's a tough spot if you're Christian Francois. He's not the fastest midfield forward combination, but what he is really hard to play through. So when he gets himself into a foot race with the speedy Akeem Ward, not likely gonna win that race. Francois is in a much better position if he can keep the ball at his feet and force Ward to play through him. But in that case, it comes down to a speed match and Ward comes out ahead.
Yeah, Ward, a former first-round pick in the MLS Super Draft by DC United back in 2019. As we mentioned, played with the Toros last season. Here's Kelly. Gets it to Malloy. Boy from Ireland, 26 years old, trying to find some space as to send it to the back line. Memphis 901, as we said, one of those teams that likes to have possession. This goes out of bounds, just kind of a miscommunication there, and this will be a Toros throw in here. 24th minute, no score. Toros still looking for their first shot on net, actually, and that was a problem last week in Pittsburgh. They had 6 shots in that game, and none of them on target. Pittsburgh really tightened the defensive screws to keep the Toros off the scoreboard. In fact, it's the only time the Toros have been shut out this season.
On the other side, Memphis 901 has scored in every match this season. I think that plays into why Memphis 901 is in this system. The 4-5-1 allows you to be the controlling factor in the midfield, but on top of that, it keeps the ball off the feet of the Toros and forces them to try to play over you. It would appear that Rio Grande Valley just is not comfortable finding a long ball to come over the top, so they're just not getting the opportunities what Cabrera would look for in his team.
So Cabrera fouled there, shoved from behind, so a quick free kick here for the Toros. Quick restart. This is Cabrera, and Cabrera upended again, this time by Jeremy Kelly. All quickly put back in play. Kelly, one of those players who was started on the back line last year and then really found a home in the midfield. Productivity really picked up. That's where he is this year. Here's Ruiz. Ruiz, who had a goal in the season opener, hasn't scored since. From El Senor, California. Sends it back to Torres. Now go back to the back line. This is Kinsner. Kinsner making his fourth start here tonight. Excuse me, his third start. His fifth appearance for the Toros. Young defender, just 19 years old, out of Tacoma, Washington. Goes to Benitez. Benitez, an experienced Venezuelan. Played 10 years in the Venezuelan top flight. Meanwhile, Ruiz is fouled. This will be a free kick for the Toros near midfield.
No surprise to see Ricky Ruiz drawing fouls. That's what he really brings as his best quality to Rio Grande Valley. He finds ways to draw fouls. Anytime he can also contribute to what you're doing in the midfield and get shots, those are just bonuses.
Yeah, he leads the team in fouls won, that was an example, and also duels won. Those 50-50 balls, he usually comes out ahead. Saw Hamid pass the ball up. He's given up only 3 goals, starting his 4th straight match. There's Akwe, has the ball kicked away from him. Oro is forced to concede a corner kick here. Or are they going to say there was a foul before that? As we take a look at this replay, this is Goodrum. Yeah, I think bringing down Akwe.
Goodrum talking to the official, and his point is that was a physical kind of 50-50 situation, and he ends up falling on me. If the official says he falls on you because you're pulling it down.
Referee's not responsible for gravity. That's 8 fouls already on this Memphis 901 team. They've come out pretty aggressively. Cabrera able to win the ball. Fight it over for Benitez. Toros will begin the attack on the left side. Now they find Ruiz, who's able to get turned. Beat his teammate Taylor Davila. Davila with 2 goals leads the Toros scoring this season. There's a chip to the far side of the box, but too far ahead for Cabrera to run onto. And this will be a free kick, or goal kick rather, for Memphis 901.
Not a bad decision by Francois to try to make something happen, as the defense for Memphis is still kind of working their way back into position, but had just a little too much on that.
See Hamid from Annandale, Virginia, still pretty young, 32 years old. Someone who's been playing professionally since 2010. All chipped away back. Kisner has to send this out of play as he had Goodrum wrapped around him. He'll concede the throw-in. Talking about Goodrum in that tussle a moment ago where he picked up the foul. He's a guy that will be in the mix quite a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not afraid to stick his nose there to make something happen. And the stat sheet bears that out. 7 shots, 23 duels won. He's been able to draw 12 fouls. Fouls charged with 11. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and make something happen, good or bad. He's going to force the action.
Almost 30 minutes complete here in the first half. No score as yet. Memphis 901 has had the majority of the attack, certainly in quality. And here's a chance here for Lapa. Derek, there, and it's sent into the net. It's a goal. And Lapa, with a deft touch, is able to push it past a sliding keeper and put Memphis 901 on top for the first time this season.
We talked about building that counter and taking advantage of it, and Lapa, the lone forward, finds himself in a good spot. And in that case, it's not really about how you kick it, it's how well you kick it. And take a look at the placement here. He just slips that around Tyler Derrick. To the defense for Rio Grande Valley, trying to shield from the backside. They just can't get there. Benitez and Kisner just cannot slide over and get in front of that. That is a deft touch in the box.
Very nice touch, and he takes the goal-scoring lead for his club. His second goal this season. Get some congratulations from the captain, Malloy, right there. And Lapa, 25 years old, out of Brazil. Midfielder. And picks up his second goal. Now in the 31st minute, and Memphis 9-0-1 as the early goal puts them on top. And neither of these teams have won this season when they've given up the first goal. Memphis was 0-2-2, and the Toros were 0-2 with 2 draws. Here's Francois. Gives it a hard shot from outside the box. Hamid looked like he was ready for that.
Francois just trying to get the quick answer. Pushes that one far left. Gotta like the effort, though, for Rio Grande Valley. They didn't allow the goal from Memphis to just completely deflate what they're doing with the attack. Francois had room to operate. Tries to dial long distance.
Big chip headed forward by Kinsner. And won by Memphis 9-0-1. That's Fernando. Sends it over to the left side. Goes inside for Lapa, the goal scorer. He's knocked off the ball, and the Toros regain possession. Now sending it ahead. This is Cabrera trying to get control. And kick clear by Graham Smith, the defender for Memphis 9-0-1. Smith out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, is 27 years old. Toros will try it again now from the left side. Benitez spent some time with the Venezuelan national team. Very experienced midfielder. Davila is dispossessed there by Malloy. Malloy was a Team of the Week player back in week 4. And several times was on the Team of the Week last year when Memphis finished second in Group East. Had their best season ever. Chance here on the left side of the box, and this will go off of Akwe, be out for a corner kick. Like it was Goodrum there who was trying to force the ball inside.
I love the effort again. Memphis not letting up here. They were controlling the ball and continuing to be the aggressors. Akwe played that really well, just stayed right on the hip of Goodrum until the last possible minute and takes that right foot and makes sure to send that one away.
Goodrum out of Nashville, not too far from Memphis, 5'11", 170 pounds. This will be our second corner for Memphis 9-0-1. Malloy trots over there. Malloy played professionally in Ireland before coming to the United States, but played his collegiate ball in the U.S., finishing at Penn State.
So Kelly Benitez will get a little admonishment from the official before we'll get this corner.
It's an in-swinger here. Derrick will stay back, headed up in the air. It's going to go out of play, and it'll be a goal kick here for Rio Grande Valley. This game starting late, about a little over an hour late because we had lightning in the area. And out of an abundance of precaution, the officials waited until the storm clouds had moved away. Now we're underway here. Saw the ball go off of Hamid. He was able to bring it down to his feet, send it over to the left side. 9-0-1 will be back on the attack again. This 4-5-1 formation that 9-0-1 opened with seems to be paying off, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it continues to play into the strengths of this Memphis 9-0-1 squad. Now you're up a goal, and you've got those 5 midfielders to kind of just crack down on what's happening in the midfield. Makes it much more difficult for Rio Grande Valley not only to get to the ball, but to get themselves into scoring opportunities. If you're putting percentages on who could come away victorious, give the edge to Memphis right now, as they've been the one controlling the pace, they've been the aggressor, and they're the one in a better defensive position to really turn the screws here to the offense of Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, the Toros so far with only 2 shots, both from outside the box, neither on target. They've really stifled the Toros' attack here through the first 30-plus minutes. And now here's an opportunity. It's Fernando on the right side. And it's a sent out of play. Good defending there by Benitez. Be a corner kick here again for the visitors.
And lest we forget, this could very easily be a scoreless draw to this moment if it weren't for a spectacular touch from Lapa to work it around Tyler Derrick and past 2 defenders. 2 teams that came in, we knew being very defensively sound, continue to play a very good defensive match.
Yeah, 901 doesn't have to break out of that 4-5-1 and risk sending players forward as long as they have the lead. They've got to force the Toros to get the equalizer through that gauntlet. Here's Malloy to take the 3rd corner for Memphis 901. And there was a whistle before the kick. Ricketts knocked down to the turf.
Kelly and Ricketts getting some admonishment. You see Jose Torres comes in. Wants his piece to be heard.
Malloy to take it once again. Send this a bit of an outswinger, and they get a header, goes over the bar. But again, 901 able to generate some kind of touch toward the net off of a corner kick.
I believe that was a 6'3" Graham Smith that just kind of slips over and put a really nice head on that. A little bit high, so it carries out. But a nice set piece off of the corner for Memphis 901.
Toros will try to chip over that midfield, not quite able to do it. Here's Cabezas with the recovery, and he'll find Ricky Ruiz. Ruiz sending it forward for his teammate Benitez, and now goes all the way to the right side. Knocked out of play, last touch by Davila, so it'll be Memphis's ball. Davila's been a bit quiet tonight. He leads the team with 2 goals and has 9 shots, but unable to get anything brewing here tonight.
Yeah, it seems Memphis 901 is okay with the Toros getting the ball to Wilmer Cabrera or Christian Francois, but they're doing it in a position where each of them has 1 or 2 defenders in their vicinity, so not a lot of room to operate. By doing that, they've completely taken Tyler Davila out of the attack. He finds himself spending more time in the midfield than he is in an attacking position.
Saw Buckmaster push it forward. 901 will restart the offense. Still looking for another goal here as they're in the 38th minute. Toros with the steal, and they've got an opportunity here. They can push numbers forward. This is Ruiz. Sends it to the left side. Francois there on the left wing, trying to cut inside, facing 2 defenders, able to center the ball, and a shot and a block in front. Another attempt from distance, and it's no good. Toros with their best opportunity of the match right there.
Yeah, point blank look in the middle, but the defender comes flying from the left side and slips right in front. Francois does a phenomenal job of weaving through traffic, gets it right to the foot of Cabrera. But again, what a sliding tackle from Von Steeg to slide in and break that attack up.
Yeah, that was Carson Von Steeg out of Santa Barbara, California. Here's the corner kick, bounces in front, and looks like it glances off a Toro player, be out for goal kick.
Memphis 901 was playing on a razor's edge there for a moment. But perhaps one of the best defensive performances you're going to see comes in from Carson Von Steeg. Slides in from the left and does just enough to prevent Wilmer Andres Cabrera from being able to put a strike on that.
But like you said, that was a great pass by Francois. As we see Hamid appears a bit shaken up, looking at his left knee. They have twisted it somehow in that last melee.
Memphis does have a keeper available to replace him if they need. That's Drew Romig.
Now, Romig he started the first 2 games this year, both losses, and then since Hamid began as a starter in the 3rd game, they have not lost. They've had 2 draws and a win in their U.S. Open Cup second round play. Toro is talking strategy and tactics right now. Had their first shot on target by Cabrera there from right about the 6-yard box. But as you said, Dom Stieg able to slide through there desperately and able to block the shot. And then a follow-up went over the bar.
Training staff still taking a really good look at that left knee of Hamid.
Yeah, Hamid, 32 years old. Trying to walk it off a bit. Looks like he might stay in there. As we said, making his 4th consecutive start here tonight.
This is the kind of position, if you are the Toros, you would love an opportunity to go right at Hamid right now while he's still thinking about that knee. That could be just enough of a distraction to give you a good striking opportunity, but you've got to get through that gauntlet in the midfield to put yourself in position to make something happen.
You can see here the Memphis 901 puts it back in play. We'll probably have a couple minutes of added time. Akwe trying to bring it down to his feet against Goodrum. And the ball goes out of Kisiedu. Toros will resume the attack here. Now a throw in for Memphis 901 here in the 42nd minute here at HEB Park. Toros haven't lost here at home this season. 3 games and 3 draws. Still looking for their first home win. They're going to do it. They're going to have to come from behind against this Memphis 901 team here tonight. It's similar to what they had to do back in October when these 2 teams met up in Memphis. It was a 2-0 early on to Memphis, and the Toros able to come back and score 2 to secure the point. Buckmaster to throw it in. Buckmaster from Indiana, 26 years old. Goes back to him. He's going to keep this on the ground to Goodrum, and now over to the left side. That's Kisiedu inside, and Derek is able there to smother that one. Not taking any chances, anybody running toward that far post. And once again, Toros try to punch through that midfield, and Memphis 901 able to secure possession, not letting them through. Papa, the goal scorer, kicks it back to his teammate Buckmaster and goes all the way back to the back line. They'll send it back to Hamid. Hamid, no doubt, treating that left knee gingerly. See the Toros there, put a little pressure on him, see what can happen. Memphis 901 once again back on the attack here. Had their best 2 seasons since they began in 2019 in the USL Championship, the last 2 years. Advancing to the playoffs. They were in the conference quarterfinals 2 years ago, last year in the conference semifinals. But had a bit of a slow start this year and hoping to turn things around while we're still early in the season. The chance here, this is Graham Smith, we'll send it back. This is Molloy trying to slice that one through, and he had a man there, a good run, but unable to get the connection going there.
Just about a half step too far in front of Goodrum, so he couldn't really play it off of his chest to knock it down. Now the Toros really need to try to make something happen here. Otherwise, they're going to head into halftime down 1-0.
and really not much offense. They had that one good opportunity where Francois centered it to Cabrera. Cabrera shot stuffed by Van Steeg right on the doorstep. Here's a free kick for Memphis 901. That's the 4th foul on the Toros. Malloy wearing the captain's armband will get it back in play. Here's Buckmaster now. Coming up from his defensive spot, sends it inside. And Kinsner taking no chances to send that out of play. And this will be another corner kick here for the visitors. We're in the final minute here in the first half, but we're looking to see how much added time there will be. We'll see Malloy come over once again to take this free kick.
Probably in no tremendous hurry to take this kick. You can kind of seep some clock away and allow your teammates to get into a position.
Saw a diving header attempt that just missed. That was Goodrum trying to dive onto it, but Derek was there to pick it up, and I see we're going to have 3 minutes at a time.
3 more minutes in this one. The bulk of that was probably the injury to Hamid.
Ball kicked out by Akeem Ward. Toros on the move here. 3 minutes of stoppage time, a chance for them to get the equalizers. Malloy slides and kicks that ball upfield. Toros back on the move again. This is Ruiz. 3 defenders circle around him. Will get it outside to Francois. Francois trying to create some space here. Sends it back to Ruiz. Ruiz shifting to the left foot. Will curl it to the right side. Oh, a nice chested ball for Hamid there. Now that's when you have good chemistry and good trust in your goalkeeper when you do that.
You just lay it off your chest right to him to pick up. Also helped that that ball had gotten over the top of the Toros' attack, so there wasn't really anybody in a position to crash and put a second touch off that. All you have to do is just lay that gently to Hamid, who was standing right over the ball.
There we see Fernando try to slide his way between 2 defenders. It's knocked down by Cabezas. This will be a free kick here for Memphis 901. Cabezas, pretty physical player out of Colombia, 32 years old, 180 pounds. We'll see it here.
A little bit of contact there. I think the bulk of that is coming from Fernando creating it, but Cabezas perhaps a half a step too slow getting over, so he puts himself in a position where Fernando can draw that foul as he just kind of jumps off of his hip.
This might be the last opportunity of the first half for either club. The Toros have put a 2-man wall there for Tyler Derrick. And Derrick's going to come off his line just a little bit, about 3 yards off. We'll see what Malloy does here. Malloy, outswinger, another header there by Goodrum, but not able to get that toward the net. Now Ricketts will kick it upfield. Trying to work that flying header to Goodrum. They've had a couple of close calls there, but not quite able to connect just yet. Toros might have a chance here with a few seconds left to see if they can get something going. They've got the throw in. They'll have to hurry. We're past 3 minutes now. There's Ruiz, only 5'7". Kind of a whirling dervish there out on the pitch as Malloy kicks it away from him. And that will be the end of half number 1. So an exciting half as both teams generate some chances. 901 with the bulk of the chances, and they get the goal and have a deserved lead here at the break. 1-0 behind the goal by Bruno Lapa out of Brazil. So coming up, we're going to be looking around the USL. We'll check some news and notes also here locally with the RGV Toros. Have a look at some first half highlights and some first half stats, standings, and all of that coming up here at halftime. Right now, you're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the H-E-B Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors, from savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. H-E-B Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
When it comes to our familia, we all have our own flavor and expression. At Tequila de Corralejo, we believe sharing our individuality is what makes gathering together so fun. Here's to those who stand tall and share their passion.
Espinos Tires on FAR 83 has been serving the Valley for over 30 years. We offer a wide assortment of tires, wheels, and auto parts. Let us build your dream vehicle with only $49 down. No credit required.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank. Did you know when you bank with Lone Star National Bank, you're investing in your community? By creating jobs that stimulate our local economy, creating success that we share with our community. In fact, Lone Star National Bank donates more money and more volunteers to more causes than all other area banks combined. We do what the little banks can't, and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
And welcome back here at halftime. It's 1-0 Memphis 901 in front of the RGV Toros, and time for our halftime report.
Yeah, special thanks to our halftime sponsor, Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka sponsor of the Rio Grande Valley Toros. Let's take a look at our USL weekly feature. Take a look at our team of the week for week number 6 here across the USL. And it was quite a set of performances up and down these lineups, but look no further than your player of the week, Augustine Williams, a native of Sierra Leone, had himself quite a performance. He got both of the goals in Charleston Battery's 2-1 victory over Tampa Bay. He's been on just an absolute tear to open this 2023 season, after delivering what had been a highlight reel finish to kind of cap off what was a huge win for the Charleston Battery. He picks up the player of the week, and Charleston Battery finds themselves all over the team of the week for week number 6, as his teammates Dodson, Polvera, and Marknovich all end up on the team of the week. Worth mentioning, there was a player from tonight's matchup that made their way onto that lineup. For the bench, Jeremy Kelly from Memphis finds himself getting some recognition for his performance in week number 6. When you look across everything that's happening in the USL, a couple other interesting stories kind of jump out for you. Hartford Atlantic made a huge pickup here in week number 6. They picked up a former Toro player, Juan Pablo Torres, who will be with them for the remainder of the season. He had 3 goals last year and 3 assists across 30 matches for Rio Grande Valley. And that's a great look at your team of the week. Now, you know what's going on here between Rio Grande Valley and Memphis 901, but they have quite a set of schedules ahead of them across the rest of the year.
And we see the Memphis 901 schedule coming up, and they're about to hit the road.
Yeah, they've got a number coming up for them. So they'll be at Atlanta United on the 26th. They'll go home to face Louisville City, back on the road for Hartford Athletic, home again for Colorado Springs, kind of a back and forth. And then on May the 19th, they'll be at FC Tulsa.
And that Atlanta United game, that's actually a 3rd round match for the U.S. Open Cup.
And then looking now at the upcoming schedule for the Rio Grande Valley Toros, depending on how many points they pick up tonight, it could have some major implications in the standings. After that, it doesn't get much easier for Rio Grande Valley. They'll be at Monterey Bay. They'll host New Mexico United to open the month of May, take a trip out to San Diego, and then come home again for Tampa Bay Rowdies and the hot-flying Charleston Battery here in the month of May.
Yeah, Charleston Battery, kind of a surprise in the Group East, but they've emerged at the top, one of just 2 undefeated teams still in the league, along with Sacramento Republic. And that Monterey Bay team, they picked up a win tonight, so that'll be a tough chore there for the Toros.
And here's what that means for the standings overall across the USL. As you know, very early in the season, but some things really starting to shake themselves out. As we said in the East, Charleston Battery right up at the top, kind of back and forth with Louisville City in the standings. Birmingham Legion find themselves down in 3rd, but based upon the first half here from Edinburgh, Memphis 901, who finds himself in 12th right now, has the opportunity to catapult up the standings. Could be as high as 7th, which would be a playoff position if they can come away with 3 points. On the other side, looking at the West and Rio Grande Valley, some really strong performances up at the top. Sacramento Republic has been world beaters so far in the West, but look right on their heels. San Diego Loyal, San Antonio, who was the preseason favorite out of the West, finds himself currently in 3rd with 11 points. And Rio Grande Valley right on the cusp of a playoff spot. In fact, they would be in the final playoff spot right now if the season ended tonight. But 3 big points and a victory here, they could find themselves up as high as 5th.
Yeah, they could actually leapfrog. Well, actually couldn't leave. Monterey Bay already pulled off a win tonight, but they could move into 5th as Monterey Bay could move up and overtake Colorado Springs. And Sacramento Republic, you mentioned them, undefeated. One of the reasons through 6 games, they've only given up 1 goal. They just have the stingiest defense in the entire league right now. And let's look at our standings. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll continue with more. We'll have some highlights and some stats when we come back. You're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors. From savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. HEB Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
When it comes to our familia, we all have our own flavor and expression. At Tequila de Corralejo, we believe sharing our individuality is what makes gathering together so fun. Here's to those who stand tall and share their passion.
Espinos Tires on FAR 83 has been serving the Valley for over 30 years. We offer a wide assortment of tires, wheels, and auto parts. Let us build your dream vehicle with only $49 down. No credit required.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank. Did you know when you bank with Lone Star National Bank, you're investing in your community? By creating jobs that stimulate our local economy, creating success that we share with our community. In fact, Lone Star National Bank donates more money and more volunteers to more causes than all other area banks combined. We do what the little banks can't, and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
And we're back here at HEB Park in Edinburgh, Texas, and time to look at the first half highlights, Brian.
And it's some strong performances early on. Defense kind of reigns supreme in this one. Both teams came out looking to allow their defense to kind of take control here. But the aggressors from the opening kick were Memphis 901. You see Akeem Ward here getting involved in the mix, pushing the pace for Memphis 901. And look at how well he slips this through. And then Lapa with the touch, able to slip that around Tyler Derrick and into the back of the net. Another look at this great pass from Ward and an even better touch from Lapa. That's your lone goal in this one. Outside of that, these defenses were in top form. Lapa had a couple of opportunities. You see the bend here, tries to slip it through, and Tyler Derrick comes up big. Coming back the other way, Francois had a phenomenal pass here, but just a little bit wide. Back on the attack the other way comes Memphis 901. Fernando just can't quite get that pass beneath this. Francois, again, getting mixed in the offense for Rio Grande Valley. And look at this pass, point blank to Wilmer Cabrera, but the phenomenal play by Von Steeg to slip in and pull that off of his foot keeps this one at 1-0 in favor of Memphis 901.
And in terms of some of the stats, it does favor Memphis 901. In terms of shots, they outshot the Toros 6-4, and shots on target 3-1. Corner kicks favored Memphis 901 4-2. Fouls 8 on Memphis 901 and only 4 on the Toros. No bookings. A couple of saves made there by Tyler Derrick, but the one goal by Lapa for Memphis 901 to put them in front.
And just phenomenal opportunities up and down this schedule. And you take a look at some other stats across the USL in this one. A couple of games have already gone final. We mentioned Monterey Bay picked up the 3-2 victory over Indy 11. We talked about what a great matchup that was going to be between Charleston and Louisville up at the top of the East. They end up playing to a 0-0 draw. Other final in this one, Colorado Springs takes the trip out to New Mexico and picks up the 2-1 victory over New Mexico United. We are at half here in Edinburgh. In the second half, San Antonio has the 1-0 lead over, or the 1-1 tie with Phoenix to this point. In El Paso, the Locomotive have the 1-0 lead over Pittsburgh. In the 11th minute, Orange County is not at 0-0 with Birmingham, and then in the 12th minute, Sacramento now has the 1-0 lead over Detroit.
Yeah, and Sacramento, the other undefeated team, along with Charleston Battery. Charleston Battery staying unbeaten tonight with the draw, and we'll see what happens with Sacramento. And, you know, the Toros, certainly a team that's established here in the Rio Grande Valley for their soccer, but they do more than that, don't they?
Yeah, phenomenal part of this community, and two key examples of that we saw here in the month of April as they were out in the community really showing their support for what makes the Rio Grande Valley such a phenomenal place to live and a place to support. And what a great opportunity for the kids to get to see their favorite players out in the community. They were out at the Texas State Aquarium where they teamed up with the Edinburgh Boys and Girls Club. Some RGV FC staff, some of the players were out there. The mascot was present to really show their support for this community and let the fans see some of their favorite players. They were also out in Mission a couple of days ago. Free food, drinks, shopping, and opportunities for the Toros players to be seen by these fans, and two of their favorites perhaps, as Jonathan Ricketts and Eric Pimentel, they were there signing autographs for the local fans.
And I understand right now we have our video ready for the week in the USL, so let's take a look at that.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals. And welcome back. We're ready for the second half of action here at HEB Park in Edinburgh. It's Memphis 901 in black and Rio Grande Valley Toros in blue and white.
And Memphis 901 on top right now, 1-0 as we start half number 2. And, Brian, during the halftime festivities down on the pitch, I noticed they honored a local soccer team for a state championship.
Yeah, Hidalgo High School just won the 6A state championship a couple of days ago. Able to go out and hang that championship banner and their plaque above their heads and let all the local fans know it's not just the Toros that play some high-level soccer here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, congratulations to the Pirates. Hidalgo, just a small town of about 15,000, but they can certainly play soccer as well as anyone. So congrats to them, and probably maybe someday we'll see some of those players in the not-too-distant future right here on this pitch playing in the USL Championship. Here's Wahab Akwe for the Toros, trying to get the Toros offense going. It was a little anemic in that first half with only 4 total shots and only 1 shot on target. See what the Toros can do here. Ruiz will pass this off. It's Cabezas with it. Cabezas wearing the captain's armband, sends it over for Davila. Too far for Davila and kicked away from him by Ward. Ward, the former Toro, had played with Oakland Roots a couple of years ago, played with the Toros last year on loan from Oakland, and this year signed with Memphis 901. Akwe brings it up, but the ball knocked down by Kisiedu. Kisiedu, the Ivorian, regains possession for Memphis 901. It goes back to Ward now. I understand that Toros made a substitution at the break.
And trading midfield for another attack forward as Jose Torres finds his way off the pitch, and coming in is Duilio Herrera, local product out of Edinburgh, just 18, but he is a forward. An additional striker in for Rio Grande Valley as they try to wake that offense up here in the second half.
Yeah, Herrera had a goal last year as a 17-year-old for this team. It's a Toro Academy product. This will be his 5th appearance of this season. Ball bounces all the way back to Derek in the Toros' goal. At the foot of Kinsner. Kinsner, the 19-year-old defender out of Tacoma, Washington, will bring the ball forward. Cabezas had some pressure there, had to get rid of it quick. Mentioned the Toros would have trouble trying to break through that 5-man midfield of Memphis 901. You could see it there as they patiently passed the ball along their back line, but as soon as they went forward, lose possession out of bounds. It's 901 back on the attack now. Malloy sends it ahead. It's Fernando. It's kicked away from him by Davila. And this will be a corner kick here to start this second half.
Rio Grande Valley has quite a hill to climb now, down 1-0 against a team as defensively stout as Memphis 901, especially when they're in this 4-5-1. They can just completely clog the middle and prevent you from being able to build your attack in stages. You're left just trying to send the ball over the top and hoping your forwards have the ability to create an opportunity on the run.
5th corner kick of the match here. And this one headed out by the Toros. Another flick on. But Fernando there able to recover. Another opportunity here for Memphis 901. Into the box. Headed at the net. And a diving save there made by Tyler Derrick. Able to get both hands on that one and bring it to ground. And a great reaction there by Derrick to make the save. 3 saves in the game now for Derrick. We've seen that again and again as Memphis 901 on those corner kicks are able to get some kind of touch. Earlier in the game, they were kind of going over the bar or wide, but that one was on net. But Derrick was ready for the occasion. Davila passes it off to the left wing. Some time there. Benitez into the area, headed out by the Memphis defense. That was Smith who got on it. Smith, the tallest defender on this 901 club. Here's Davila. Leading goal scorer for the Toros. Ball bounces around and is headed back to Hamid. Picks it up safely.
Davila wanted a foul call there. He got kind of spun around as he was weaving through some defenders. The official waves him off. It's a nice job by Davila. He just kept at it. But that defense, again, very strong for Memphis 901.
Lapa with a hard shot blocked by Akwe. Derek misses it, but then is able to fall on it. He was in a scramble there with Goodrum. Goodrum trying to explain that, I stayed still. I think they did call a foul there, but you saw the free kick from that spot. Close call there for Derek. See Derek with a bit of a miss kick there as Goodrum was closing in. It's going to be 901's ball. We'll take another look at that last melee.
And that's where the foul is going to be called on Goodrum, because he takes a kick right at Tyler Derek, but his argument is, I don't know where Derek's at. I'm looking up to try to scare this ball, and it drops down right at my feet. What am I supposed to do, not kick it?
Yeah, and I think the foul might have actually been, I noticed on the replay there, Goodrum tried to kick the ball after Derek had fallen on it, and that may have been the reason for the foul. Back to action now. Toros putting on pressure here. They want to get that equalizer. Not want to surrender 3 points here at home. This is Ward. Finds Goodrum now. Nice through ball there for Ward. Akwe closing in. Ball goes out of play, and this will be a goal kick. A lot of action going on tonight in the USL Championship. This one of 8 games going on. A couple of them in the books already. Oh, and here's a nice intercept by Isiedu. It's kicked away from him. Still Memphis 901 pouring on the pressure here. Pass into the box. Goodrum turns. Shot blocked by Akwe. Now Cabrera with it. And kicked away by Ricketts. Ruiz running onto it. Trying to work it forward there. Gets it to Francois. Oh, Francois had a nice little move there, but following up was a defender.
Akeem Ward once again gets his nose in there and makes something happen defensively. Francois had made a really nice touch. Ward makes it impossible. Substitution now for Memphis 901 as Lapa will come out. He'll be replaced by Lucas Turchi.
Yeah, Turchi, another Brazilian for a Brazilian here. Turchi, 26 years old. Adds some height here. He's 6'4", defender. You might see a strategic shift here for Memphis 901.
That's a midfielder out for a forward, for a defender, so essentially they'll now move to the 5-4-1. One more backline defender now. It looks like Memphis 901 is going to be pretty comfortable with the amount of pressure they're able to get on their attack. So now they're thinking about ensuring they have bodies back to help defensively.
You see Ward trying to move forward. Ends up tripping up with Ricketts. This will be a Toros free kick. Isiedu is 24 years old. The opening 15 here of half number 2. So far, Memphis 901 has put on a defensive clinic. They have the 1-0 lead. A sliding tackle there by Ward, and this looks like it'll be a booking. Rash challenge by Ward, and he picks up yellow. His 3rd of the year.
Yeah, just no need for that challenge. You can come in and challenge that, but when you put your whole body right on the feet of Jonathan Ricketts, it's an easy call for the official to make. Ricketts was going to beat him to that ball. Even with Ward's speed, he was not going to get there first. So going to ground in that situation is just handing cards to your opponent.
And also, there's no scoring opportunity there for the Toros. They're back at their own end of the field. So it's not like you're risking giving up a shot on target right there. So Cabezas Cabezas will lift it forward to the left side. This is Cabrera. He'll play it back. Toros will let numbers come forward here so they can generate the attack. Cabezas. Now to Acque as the defender comes up. Ricketts also a defender on the right side. So Toros trying to put numbers forward here. Still looking for that equalizer. Davila, who has one shot tonight, sends it over to the left side, but the Toros not looking to press forward just yet. Now they'll try the through ball. Trying to run onto it there is Cabrera. Just able to get to it, or are they going to say no? They're going to say it went out for a goal kick. Or do they? No, they don't. I guess yeah, he did catch up to it. Cabrera did.
That's a great hustle by Cabrera on the wing, coming all the way down and keeping that one in.
Great job there, and Goodrum had kicked it out of play. So the Toros with a chance here. Malloy with the intercept. Malloy came in leading the team in interceptions, picks up one there. The Toros regroup. Cabezas putting on pressure. Finally, it's kicked out of play into the Toros end of the pitch. And then goes out after Kinsner sends it clear. See head coach Stephen Glass in his first year as head coach of Memphis 901. Played professionally for many years in Scotland and England. Played for Newcastle United and Watford, among others. Ward sends this upfield. And Memphis 901 with a chance here on the counterattack. That was one of the keys we had talked about. Kisiedu sends it forward for Ward. Acque gets there first. And it goes out of play, and this will be a goal kick. Ward and Acque, teammates last year. '58th minute now. Toros will try to work the ball upfield through that tight midfield of Memphis 901. That's Ruiz sending it to the right side. Finds Ricketts. He has Francois in front of him. Now reverse the attack here. This is Davila. Kinsner with it, forced to play it back to his keeper, Tyler Derrick. Derrick with 3 saves tonight, but has given up the 1 goal. Cabrera. Work a give and go. Benitez runs onto it now. Benitez creating some space. He'll be able to send the ball into the area. Nobody there for the Toros, though. Ricketts runs onto it. Looking for some help. Kisiedu trying to work it from him and is able to do so. And he'll get it to his teammate, Malloy. .901 now on the counter. Urchi just came onto the pitch. And I was trying to send that one through. It goes off of Acque and it'll be out for a corner kick. That'll be corner number 6 now for Memphis 901.
Since that last substitution by Memphis 901 where the goal scorer Lapa came out, Tucci came in, you've seen the Toros able to control the pace a little more, find themselves over the ball. But again, what a great defensive job we're seeing from Memphis 901. They withstand those rallies and are right back on the attack. And here once again, Memphis 901 turned a good counter into an opportunity here on the corner.
Speed Malloy once again, and he's on that side where he can get this ball to curl in toward the net. This one goes too far, but a header goes over the bar. And looks like one of the Memphis players, looks like Goodrum, might be shaken up just a bit. I think it was Smith who actually got his head on the ball, and Goodrum appears to be okay. Goodrum was a first team all USL Championship last year, along with Malloy. 60 minutes in, long pass here, headed for Francois.
I think we're going to get a handball off of that. Francois had his arms up, and I think as he tried to just kind of chest that one down, he ends up catching it with his kind of forearm and hand. Yeah, you see it there. It just kind of rolls off and catches his hand.
Yeah, if you gain an advantage from that, then they will call the handball. Kinsner right there. There's jersey number 19, and he's 19 years old. Youngest player on the pitch, I believe. Or no, Herrera, he's 18. Just came on. So a couple of teenagers out there for the Toros. Hoping to keep the energy high. Herrera, who's only 22 himself, wins the free kick here. Next match for the Toros, they'll be at Monterey Bay next Saturday. And the next match for Memphis 901, we saw they were going to play in the U.S. Open Cup against Atlanta United 2. Excuse me, Atlanta United out of MLS. That'll be on Wednesday. That's a team they're not strangers to either. Their coach, Stephen Glass, is a former head coach of Atlanta United. They'd also coached the Atlanta United 2 at one point. And then the next USL Championship game for Memphis will be a week from tonight. They'll be at home at AutoZone Park taking on Lou City. It's the second place team in the East. See the restart here by Memphis 901. Looking for that second goal if they can get something off the counterattack. Something the Toros will have to be careful about as they try to press forward for that equalizer. Ricketts sends it forward. Intercepted here by Memphis. Pass into the middle, but a free kick being awarded to the Toros.
Yeah, I think that might have actually ended up being out. They didn't quite keep it in.
See the Toros with some pressure. And a little bit of miscommunication there as this goes out for a corner. Saw Akwe trying to get it to Kinsner quickly, but sent it too far behind him. Kinsner unable to catch up to it, and they'll concede the corner kick here. That's all thanks to the Memphis pressure that they kind of applied there.
We've seen Memphis 901 has had some real success off of these corners on the year, especially on this evening. It seems like every corner they've had, they've been able to put a pretty good strike on it.
There's Malloy with the kick and a header. It's going to go wide, but this will stay in play. Memphis runs onto it. That was Goodrum that got the header. Now Kisiedu with it near the touchline. Sends it inside. It goes off the crossbar, a header, and it's in the back of the net. And it's a 2-0 lead for Memphis 901 after the goal by Graham Smith.
Graham Smith uses every inch of that 6'3" frame, and Memphis is just so dangerous in the box. And a nice opportunity off of the corner there. It goes a little bit long, but they stay with it, are able to send it back in toward the box. And that long performance from Graham Smith right here, right place, right time, right head. And that is the insurance goal that Memphis 901 needed, now up 2-0.
Yeah, and that was an assist from their defender, Carson Vamsteeg. You see Kisiedu centers the ball. Vamsteeg has the ball that ricochets off the crossbar. And then Graham Smith goes in there to get a soft header for his first goal of the season. And a 2-0 lead here for Memphis 901.
Give an assist to the crossbar as well. It was involved. Crossbar played that very well right back over to Graham Smith.
And good anticipation by Smith just to anticipate some kind of rebound in there. He was crashing toward the net. And things paid off for him. So 2-0 here to Memphis 901. Now have 8 shots in the game with 5 shots on net. And 2 have gone up on the scoreboard. Well, tall order now for the Toros, who find themselves down by 2 goals. They were down 2 goals in October against this Memphis team. Here's a chip into the box and punched out there by the Memphis defense. And this will go out for a corner here for the Toros. But back in October, Memphis took a 2-0 lead. Toros came back and they were able to tie that in the second half and end with a 2-2 draw. See what they can do here, though, as there are only 25 minutes to go. Cabrera with the kick. Davila tried for the hitter. There's Akwe trying to get to it. And that goes out of play. It'll be a goal kick. Yeah, the Toros, if they're going to come back here, will probably have to generate more set pieces in the attacking third.
If you're Rio Grande Valley, no need to be careful at this point. Any chance you get, you want to be off to the races. Let those Bulls go on parade. These Toros need some opportunities, and you're not going to get that by being conservative in your attack right now. So any space you've got to just challenge, and see if you can get a breakthrough.
Yeah, and a tough spot for the Toros is that they haven't scored 2 goals in a game this season. Managed to score just 1 goal, or they had 1 goal, which was 1 game last week where they were shut out. That was against Pittsburgh. But all the other games, they have only 1 goal to show for it. Would have to get at least 2 tonight to come away with points. Ball comes off Davila after a heavy touch. There's a turnover into the area and a shot off the post. It's still in play, and Davila is able to clear it. Toros dodge another bullet there. That's at least the 3rd ball we've seen go off the woodwork at some point tonight. Twice Memphis has hit the post. Once they've hit the bar. Now here's Davila, Ruiz rather, sends it inside. Hamid comes out to stifle that one against Francois. Still in play though. Trying to get it to Ruiz, whose first touch was too heavy, and it goes over to Memphis 901. Looked like Memphis 901 had that one all wrapped up. All they had to do was just put the bow tie on it.
And this was eerily close to being 3-0. Kelly working his way around, nearly gets his 2nd goal of the match. Well, that one ends up being cleared away. Francois, just a nice job of playing that one down, but Bill Hamid shows why he is a top-level keeper. Comes out and challenges and prevents Francois from being able to put that into an attacking position.
Yeah, that was perfectly timed there by Hamid. And here's a free kick won by the Toros. That was Francois. It was upended. We saw Vom Steeg backing up. Vom Steeg, who assisted on that 2nd goal, scored by Graham Smith. Ball played back to Ruiz. Now to Cabrera. Cabrera has it kicked away from him. And 901 goes on the attack here. This is Goodrum. Goodrum still looking for his first goal this season. Gives it a shot. Save made there by Derek. Derek had a good angle on that one. It'll go out of play. It'll be Memphis throw in.
This attack for Memphis 901 is continuing to just show out. Goodrum forces Tyler Derrick to really make a nice move to put himself in position to that. Seems like everything that this Memphis 901 team does seems to be coming out positively.
Came out with an excellent game plan, have executed it to perfection. Still more than 20 minutes to go here. Toros with plenty of time to find the next goal and the equalizer if they can get their offense on track. Another chance for 901, and this is kicked out by Kinsner. It'll be another corner kick here for the visitors. Derek has had a busy night in the Toros goal.
Corner kick, Memphis 901 FC.
That'll be the Irishman, Malloy, once again to take this corner.
901 FC.
8th corner of the match for Memphis. Headed out by Cabezas. Yedu with it now. Centers the ball, but it was Ruiz who was there to clear it. Trying to get it to Francois up ahead. Toros were trying to counter quickly there, but 901 able to recover and regain possession. There's Malloy moving in against 3 defenders. Give it for Turchi. Second half sub. Shoots and save made there by Derek. Derek has come up huge in this game.
I think somebody forgot to tell Memphis 901 that they're a defensive team that's in a defensive system right now, because they are just offense, 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 and Tyler Derrick is getting a workout.
He's made some big saves here tonight. But 901 able to just pepper the Toros' net with shots. They've gotten 2 past Derrick and have the 2-0 lead. Inside the last 20 now. Another corner kick here for Memphis 901. This is just the second meeting ever between these two clubs. Had a draw last year. Malloy with the kick. Put up in the air by Davila, and that'll be another corner. Actually, I miscounted. This will be, that was corner kick number 9, so this will be 10 coming up. See Vom Stieg, he played on a national champion as a Stanford Cardinal back in 2017. He's also a member of the U17 U.S. national team. Malloy, he was first team All-USL last year. Set a club record with 10 assists last year. It's one of those players that is just all over the place. Here's the corner, headed out by Ricketts. Boy will keep this in play. Another attack here brewing for Memphis 901. This is Fernando trying to get inside, dueling with Cabrera. And they're going to say Fernando was a little too aggressive. 14 fouls now called against Memphis 901 here tonight compared to 6 for the Toros.
They've by far been the aggressor, but it's worked out to their benefit. A lot of fouls, but a lot of opportunities have really turned Memphis' way.
Only seen 2 bookings tonight, 1 on each club. This is Cabezas brings it up. Finds Davila. Davila scored 2 of the last 3 matches for the Toros. Well, they're going to say offside here. First time we've seen the offside flag come up tonight. This will be Graham Smith, who scored that second goal for Memphis 901, his first of the season. Well, thought he was going to take it. He's going to let his keeper Hamid take it. And Hamid had that left knee shaken up at the end of the first half, but he has looked okay here in the second, hasn't he?
He certainly has, and coming out to take the kick means he feels pretty confident on that left leg. Before he can take the kick, we're going to get a yellow card issued to Graham Smith for appearing to take that kick and wasting a lot of time off that clock and then stepping away and calling Hamid out to take it. And the official says, no, you got to play with a little more speed and deliberance than that.
The chance here for Memphis 901, trying to chip it into the box. Knocked away. Malloy comes up to challenge it. Cabezas on top of it. Cabezas kind of pulled down from behind there, so it's going to be a quick free kick. Quickly put back into play here by the Toros, who are wanting to try to gain some kind of advantage on the quick counter. Francois has it tackled away from him by Ward. Ward's tackles are just textbook, aren't they?
He's got a real knack for putting the slide down in the right moment and clearing that ball away without drawing the foul. Looks like we're going to get a substitution for the Toros. Making his first appearance of the season, Frank Lopez will come in to replace Jonathan Ricketts. Fans in the Rio Grande Valley will know Frank Torres quite well. He is a spark plug on offense. Coach Wilmer Cabrera has been waiting for him to be available all season. It looks like we're going to get our first taste of that Frank Lopez attack here.
And there was also a yellow card shown to the Toros bench. Not sure if that was on a particular player or on Coach Cabrera. We did see the yellow card issued there, but back in play here. Lopez, the Cuban, has a nose for goals, is out there on the pitch. Had some injury problems this year. 7 goals last year, was tied for the team lead. Let's see what the Toros can do here in the last 15 minutes. Now, last year they had a pretty good knack of scoring in the final 15. Here's a chip into the box, a little too far for Lopez. And Memphis 901 with possession, able to clear this up. Akwe there to intercept. Now a collision at midfield, and we're going to have a free kick here issued for the Memphis 901. Bessis doesn't like that.
50-50 ball right at midfield. And Cabezas picks up the foul because Goodrum was ahead of him there. So Cabezas being the one that generates the contact, he'll be the one to draw the foul.
And let me correct myself on that last booking that was on the sideline. It was actually on Memphis's head coach, not on the Toros head coach. I saw a shot of one of the Toros assistant coaches kind of arguing, so I thought it might be on them, but it was actually against Stephen Glass, the Memphis 901 head coach. So right when I said there had been only 2 bookings, we've seen 2 more.
Both going against Memphis,
yep.
All things. So 3 cards against Memphis, 1 against Rio Grande Valley right now. And if you're Memphis, this is playing directly into what you want to do over the last 12 or 13 minutes of play, and that's just keep the ball away from the Toros. You don't really have to push the pace right now. You just want to continue to find yourself in control and keep the ball out of attacking positions for Rio Grande Valley.
Ball chested too hard by Cabrera, allowing 901 to kick it upfield. Now a Toro player is upended. See who that is. Oh, it's Herrera, Duilio Herrera, the 18-year-old out of Edinburgh. You see it right here.
He kind of has his feet taken right out from under him as he tries to establish position and move forward.
And that's what the Toros need, is to get win these set pieces in dangerous scoring positions. This will be Davila. To kick it into the box. Hamid coming out there and is able to intercept that one. Hamid reading it well and stifles that Toros opportunity. 79th minute now, in Memphis 901 on the breakout. Isiedu. It's inside for his teammate Smith. Smith forced to retreat back, and he finds Malloy. Malloy, from distance, goes over the bar.
I think if I'm Memphis 901, I don't really want Malloy taking that strike in that moment. He had an opportunity there and certainly had a decent look at net, but he also had some opportunity to pull that back and continue to work it back and forth. And I think playing to Memphis's advantage right now is continuing to work that ball. There's no need to take that strike. You're up 2-0. It's about possession right now and not giving the ball back over to Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, and as long as you keep possession and play that takeaway, you force the other team to evaporate their energy reserves as well. Long chip here by Davila. Toros trying to race onto that. Malloy was there first. He goes down. And then Herrera was running onto that before it was kicked away from him. Play is continuing here, although Malloy is shaken up. And now the ball goes out of play.
And Malloy was really quick to wave his hand after he went down. You know, I'm not getting back up quickly. I need to be looked at here. There'll be a corner coming for Rio Grande Valley at the conclusion of this. Here's how we get there. It's like Frank Lopez just stepped right on the top of Malloy's foot.
You could see Malloy's hand went right up. You could see the grimace on his face as well, before the ball was cleared out by Buckmaster. Boy being looked at now. Came in leading the team with 7 shots. We're going to see a substitution.
Looks like Wilmer Andres Cabrera is going to come out. Robert Coronado coming now in for Rio Grande Valley.
Coronado out of La Abra, California, 26 years old. Be his 6th appearance for the Toros this year, the defender. We see another look at the Malloy injury.
Actually, on that angle, you don't really see the step happening. It may have been that as Malloy plants his foot, it just kind of gives. That first replay, it looked to me like Frank Lopez might have stepped on it, but that angle shows us a little something different there. Malloy's back to his feet. You'd love to see that.
There we see Wilmer Cabrera.
Oh, yeah, right there. You see Malloy's ankle just gives. He plants that left foot, and it just folds right as he puts his weight to it.
He was in a lot of pain right from the get-go there. A corner kick here for the Toros. Excellent opportunity for them as we're in the last 10 minutes. They need 2 goals to force a tie. Headed out by Goodrum. Kick was probably a little lower than what the Toros wanted. Goodrum able to get his head on it before it got into the mixer. Toros taking their time here, needing 2 goals to equalize and come away with points. Memphis looking for their first win of the season. They had 21 wins last year, but 0-2-2 coming into tonight. Gotten stronger as the season has gone on. They had started off with 2 losses. Now they've had 2 draws. Also had a win in the U.S. Open Cup. Team that seems to be getting stronger as the season goes on here. Smith will pass this off to the right side. Chance here for Memphis 901. They have some numbers in the box. Kicked away there by Kinsner. Now Francois will come all the way back to recover that one. And he'll bring it forward here in the 83rd minute. It's Akwe with it across the half line. Chip it all the way down, trying to get it to Lopez. And Lopez, I believe, commits the foul there on Baumstieg, pushing him aside. Lopez, who's from Cienfuegos, Cuba, 28 years old. It's his 3rd year with the Rio Grande Valley Toros. I receive Baumstieg. Stieg is 24. Oh, nice little flick on there. That was by Turchi. Goes all the way back to Derek. Goodrum putting on some pressure. I think Kinsner, not wanting to take any chances, will put that out. Derek was out of his net. Usually defenders, if they know their keeper is away from the net, usually the safest thing is just to either boot it all the way up the field or boot it out. This is Davila bringing it up. Up for a moment there by Turchi. 17 fouls now on this Memphis team in the 85th minute. Rose trying to go up. Hamid is out of his net, has to head the ball. Hamid came way out for that one, was right on the edge of the box, so we're not even sure if he could use his hands. He was able to skillfully head that ball out of danger. Toro still on the attack here. Ruiz able to get turned. Nice through ball for Lopez. A shot save made there by Hamid. The offside flag had come up, however. So Lopez just a bit offside, but that's what the Toros have been looking for, trying to set up all second half.
Substitution now for Memphis 901. Dylan Borchik's coming in. Laurent Casedu will come out. Additionally, coming in now will be Knight Pickering. He'll replace Philip Goodrum. Memphis gets some fresh legs back out onto the pitch here as they try to continue to weather the storm that's been a little better attack for Rio Grande Valley late.
And it is quite hot out there, quite humid, as we did have some rain clouds earlier today. Rained a little bit. We also had some lightning, hence the hour-long delay in starting this game. But Pickering, a forward out of Birmingham, Alabama, and Borchek out of Detroit, played last year with the Toros, scored a couple of goals before he was traded to Memphis 901. They've got two former Toros out there for Memphis, Akeem Ward and now Dylan Borchek. And here's Borchek here with his first touch. The former Horizon League Player of the Year, University of Oakland. They'll send it back. And Memphis 901 now doing kind of what you were talking about earlier, Brian, is just play the keep away a little bit.
And back and forth passing. It's the best thing you can do in this situation. You've got about 4 minutes in regulation and likely a couple minutes of stoppage time left. The Toros have found some better attacks over the last few moments. Now it's time to really play a little bit of keep away here and see if you can slow down what had been an ignition to the attack here for Rio Grande Valley.
This is onside, and a shot and a goal for Memphis 901, and they go up 3-0. A goal there by Pickering, who just came onto the pitch only seconds ago, and Memphis 901 looks like they're going to come away with 3 points here tonight.
Yeah, the 18-year-old Knight Pickering, and you talk about playing keep away, but when the opportunity presents itself, you've got to kind of jump on it. And Pickering does just that. What a nice job of stepping forward, finding himself in a good attacking spot, and then coming up huge. And give some credit to Fernando, as he had a spectacular touch there out of the midfield to set up that attack from Pickering.
Yeah, that was a nice bit of defending, getting that turnover. Pickering with his first goal, though Pickering, his background in the youth league, he scored a ton of goals, even was on a Dallas Cup winner, which is one of the biggest amateur tournaments in the United States. And Pickering coming out there in just 1 minute on the pitch was able to pick up the goal, and it's 3-0 here for Memphis 901. The most goals the Toros have given up this season. They've had a pretty stingy defense. Offense, they've had their troubles, and again had troubles here tonight with only one shot on target here this evening. '88th minute now, and we've got a free kick being awarded. We're also going to have a substitute.
Coming in now for Memphis 901 is going to be Rashawn Daly. He'll give a rest to Luis Fernando, the assister on that last goal.
Now substituting for Memphis 901 FC.
Yeah, Fernando with the goal last week in the 2-2 draw against Las Vegas. Played well tonight on the wing. We see coming in is Dolly, who's out of Jamaica.
Ian Seto is going to come in for Ricky Ruiz of Rio Grande Valley. Additionally, it looks like Jose Angel Luna will come in. He'll replace Cristiano Francois for Rio Grande Valley as both teams get some youth out there on the pitch in the final moments.
Yeah, Dolly is on loan from the MLS side, FC Cincinnati. Player with a lot of potential. Memphis 901 with the throw-in. That's Ward. Toros trying to regain control here. Maybe they can still put one back before we're done. Free kick awarded to the Toros. And Akwe able to send that one forward. Baumstieg taking no chances, sends it all the way back to his keeper, Hamid. Flicked on there by Borchek. And played back to Derek. Now in the 90th minute, although we're anticipating some stoppage time.
Looks like we'll get 3 minutes of stoppage time as we approach the final seconds of regulation.
3 minutes stoppage time will be added.
3-0 lead here for the Memphis 901. At 1-0 at halftime. They've added 2 here in the second half. They'll come away with a decisive win. It'll be their first win of the year. And the Toros likely to suffer their second straight loss after losing in Pittsburgh last week. Now here's a free kick awarded to Memphis 901. Borchek with the touch. Toros trying to regain possession here. Memphis 901 able to get it. Chipped up. Intended for Borchek. Headed away by Akwe. It's going to go out of play for a corner kick. This will be the 11th corner here for Memphis 901 tonight. They just have an offensive explosion. They've had 12 shots with 7 on target, Brian. And now what will be their 11th corner kick.
Just putting on a clinic. Memphis came in with a fantastic game plan, and they have executed it to the best ability I think anyone could have expected. This has been a complete dismantling of this Toros defense by Memphis 901.
Kensner sends it ahead too far for Herrera, and it's kicked back to Hamid in the Memphis goal. And 901 once again will have possession. Racing ahead there is Dolly, the Jamaican forward. Davila dueling with him for the ball. Goes out of play. It'll be a Toros throw in here. 1 minute left. As we said, the Toros will be facing Monterey Bay in California next Saturday. And for Memphis 901, they've got a U.S. Open Cup match against Atlanta United on Wednesday. And then that'll be at home, and then that'll be on the road actually in Atlanta. And then they'll be at home against Louisville City a week from tonight. Here's Frank Lopez. Lopez on the right side, pass inside, intercepted by Vom Stieg. And he'll just simply kick it up to midfield and out of bounds. Might be the last opportunity here for the Toros. Akwe chips it back to Cabezas. Cabezas, the 32-year-old captain. Now Benitez. And it goes ahead for Seto. Seto's 26 years old. And Borchek trying to duel for that one. And that will do it. We have reached the end, and it was a gem by Memphis 901. They come away with the 3-0 victory. Goes by Lapa, Smith, and Pickering. And they win their first match of the year and pick up all 3 points here on the road tonight against the Rio Grande Valley Toros. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with some highlights and a final wrap-up here on our broadcast. Right now, you're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors, from savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. HEB Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
When it comes to our familia, we all have our own flavor and expression. At Tequila de Corralejo, we believe sharing our individuality is what makes gathering together so fun. Here's to those who stand tall and share their passion.
Espinos Tires on FAR 83 has been serving the Valley for over 30 years. We offer a wide assortment of tires, wheels, and auto parts. Let us build your dream vehicle with only $49 down. No credit required.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank.
And welcome back to HEB Park, 3-0, Memphis 9-0-1. Brian, who's our man of the match?
I give it to Bruno Lapa. He set the tone for Memphis 9-0-1 in this one. Got that beautiful first goal, working it around the defense and in against Tyler Derrick. And that really set Memphis up to play the kind of game they needed to defensively. Up 1-0, you can really take some strong opportunities to set yourself defensively. That was the tone Memphis needed, and they capitalized in a big way in this 3-0 victory.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights. Brian, take us through it.
And plenty of scoring opportunities on the side of Memphis 9-0-1. They were in control early and not afraid to bring the attack right to Rio Grande Valley. See Akeem Ward here bringing this one forward. Look at how he slips this through so beautifully. And there's Lapa with the one touch just past 3 defenders and into the back of the net. Another look at the angle on this goal. You can't place it much better by Ward, and a nice job by Lapa to finish that. That put Memphis up by 1-0, and from there they were just rolling. Taking this job right off the crossbar, and then Smith slips in. That's now 2-0 Memphis. Another look on that angle. Crossbar, Smith, head, goal. And Memphis was now rolling. A little bit of pressure from Rio Grande Valley, but not enough to hold off Memphis, as very late in this one, actually in stoppage time, soft touch right there finds its way to the strike of Pickering. He puts Memphis up 3-0, and that's all the scoring. Look no further than that. Memphis found their offense in a huge way.
And some of the final stats bear that out as Memphis outshoots the Toros 12-4, shots on target 7-1 in favor of Memphis, and then in corner kicks 11-4 in favor of Memphis. There were 4 bookings, 1 on the Toros, 3 on Memphis 9-0-1, as they come out with the 3-0 victory and all 3 points tonight, their first win of the year. So congrats to them on that. For the Toros, they'll have to regroup as they get ready to head to California to take on Monterey Bay next Saturday. Meanwhile, the Memphis 9-0-1 goes to Atlanta to take on Atlanta United in the 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup. Hope you enjoyed our coverage. For Brian Smith, I'm Mark May, and the rest of our USL Championship broadcast crew. We're saying so long from Edinburgh, Texas. Memphis 9-0-1 wins it 3-0.
Without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.